In the history of horror gaming, there is usually a formula. You build a long story, you create complex mechanics, and you hope the audience sticks around for the 10-hour campaign. But in October 2021, a small indie team called Mob Games threw that formula out the window. They released a game that you could beat in the time it takes to eat a sandwich. It was glitchy, it was incredibly short, and it centered around a goofy, blue, fuzzy toy that looked like it belonged on Sesame Street, not in a nightmare. Yet this single 10-minute experience didn't just succeed, it exploded. It morphed from a tech demo into a cultural phenomenon called Poppy Playtime. But how? How does a game with barely any runtime become a household name overnight? The answer lies in a strategy that weaponized curiosity and turned a blue toy into a marketing masterpiece. To understand the rise of Poppy Playtime, you have to understand the blue toy, Huggy Wuggy. Before this game, horror monsters were designed to be repulsive. Think Silent Hill or Resident Evil. But Mob Games did something brilliant. They designed a monster that was huggable. Huggy Wuggy uses primary colors, bright blue and yellow. He has a distinct silhouette. He is designed, quite literally, to be a toy first and a monster second. This created a psychological disconnect. When he chases you through the vents, bearing those rows of needle teeth, it hits harder because he looks so innocent. But from a business perspective, this design was a goldmine. It was YouTube ready. A bright blue monster pops on a thumbnail. It catches the eye of a child scrolling through an iPad and an adult looking for a thrill. The character design did 90% of the marketing work before the player even pressed start. Critically, the length of the game, that controversial 10 to 20 minutes, was actually its secret weapon. In the modern internet era, attention spans are short. A 10-minute game is the perfect length for a streamer to play without cutting parts out. It is the perfect length for a theory channel to dissect frame by frame without getting overwhelmed. Because the game was so short, the developers had to pack it with density. They scattered VHS tapes throughout the factory. These tapes hinted at a massive, dark backstory involving orphans and experiments, but they didn't give the full answers. This created a lore vacuum. The community rushed in to fill the gaps, creating thousands of videos analyzing the story. The game was short, but the conversation around it was endless. Once the internet was hooked on the blue toy, Mob Games executed the pivot. They realized that Poppy Playtime wasn't just a game, it was an IP, intellectual property. While major studios take years to approve merchandise, Poppy Playtime merch hit the shelves almost instantly. They bridged the gap between digital horror and physical goods faster than Five Nights at Freddy's ever did. The revenue from the 10-minute game funded the massive, high-budget sequels that followed. They used the viral fame of Huggy Wuggy to hire better animators, voice actors, and developers. Chapter 1 was the seed, the merchandise was the water, and the franchise was the harvest. So, how did a 10-minute game with a blue toy become Poppy Playtime? It wasn't an accident. It was a masterclass in modern media. They didn't just sell a game, they sold a character. They realized that in the attention economy, being memorable is more important than being long. Huggy Wuggy might have started as a static model in a lobby, but he ended up building an empire. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the gaming industry. I'll see you in the next one.